left Minrathous, and you have headed south along the Imperial Highway. It is a beautiful but sweltering day into winter, although you do have the nice breeze off the ocean, which is good. Zevran is with you. You also probably each have horses, because you're working with Dorian. Dorian's fucking stacked.
Who can actually ride horses?
Probably
presumably, the only one I can imagine having problems with it would be Cassandra.
Right? Because I'm fucking large.
Do you want to make a riding check to see how well this goes for you?
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
Like, normally that's reserved for, like, stunts on a horse or whatever. But
right.
I'll let you make it for...
What is that under?
It's under Dex.
Dexterity riding.
Of course. Okay.
You rolled an 8.
About what I expected.
Yeah. So, first of all, horses are not as big as they should be for you, Cassandra. You are very large, and this beast is comparatively not large. Like, they gave you, like, the biggest horse in the stable, and it's still not very large. And also, the horse does not like you because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
So it's sort of like, you don't fall off and, like, harm yourself, but, like, it's a near thing. Because this horse is not your friend.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. It sure isn't.
At least you don't injure yourself.
There we go. There's that.
Is anyone talking about anything on the ride?
I feel like I'm spending the entire time trying to give Cassandra tips about how to ride the horse better.
Your experience riding would mostly be with Hala, Sabre, which are much smaller than horses, but they're also like a better ride.
Okay, I think that makes me obnoxious enough to try to give people unsolicited advice.
Oh god.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think as you're, like, riding, I'm just like, you just have to make sure that your seat is censored. So just make sure you sit up very straight. Your spine. No, straighter. No, come on.
Like this? How? What?
Is everyone in the back day drinking?
I'm like, that's mostly, but now you're holding the reins too tight. So stop holding the reins so tight.
I let go of the reins.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, dear. No, too much? Okay. All right. I'll hold them lightly.
Basically, you just want to pretend that your entire body is a stiff, you just want to sink into the bottom of the horse, but then also keep your spine very straight, and then also hold the reins so gently that it's like...
Oh, God.
Zevran offers whatever he's drinking to Elian.
Elian accepts happily.
It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, but whatever. So it does take you a couple days to get substantially far away from Minrathous. And it's a couple days south on the Imperial Highway. The nights are very, very cool along the coast of the Notion Sea. Like, as roads go, the Imperial Highway is about as safe as it gets. But that said, it's still not super safe. Like, you have a couple close scrapes with people who look at you funny, but then there's, like, more people coming down the road in the opposite direction, and then they decide, maybe we won't rob you because we'll have witnesses, and we don't want to deal with killing that many people. But yeah, it's a long journey down the first leg toward Asariel, which is another major city in the Tevinter Imperium. How are y'all enjoying each other's company over these first few days? Are you getting along?
I feel like the further Elian gets from a feather bed, the bitchier he gets.
Oh boy.
Oh, great.
And like, it's subtle the first couple days, and then it's not subtle.
I think I'm the opposite. I think Sabre is like, he's very happy on the road. He does not like being in cities. He doesn't like,
that makes sense.
Staying one place. Yeah.
You being a Dalish, like being on the road, you're like, finally, I'm fucking moving.
Yeah, like he's pretty excited actually. He's been very, like, he's perkier than anyone has ever seen him.
It's
scary.
It's scary. It's being in between the two of you. One of you, who's normally very nice, is now a huge bitch, and the one who's angry is now, like, all chirpy. I'm just like, what happened?
As everyone just gets more miserable.
Oh,
he runs out of alcohol. He didn't take enough.
Oh dear.
That's probably a good thing, because honestly, showing up to fight Darkspawn wasted is probably not a solid plan.
Ah, you say that now, my friend. You didn't live through the Fifth Blight. I fought half the Darkspawn I killed, completely plastered.
Sabre just sort of, like, stares at him.
I learned that trick from your brother, he says, toasting you.
What? I feel like in my, like, historical recollection of my brother, he did not drink. Like, not much. You know what I mean? Like...
And you're like, who the fuck are you talking
The
about?
Danish don't have a lot of access to alcohol. Like they sometimes distill their own, but it's like it's a process, you know? And it's hard to do when you're on the road.
I was gonna say, it feels like I shouldn't be somebody who drinks that much. Like, I feel like I'd, like, have this idea that if you drink too much, it dulls your senses and then you can't fight, so...
You definitely, I'll give you that you've definitely never seen your brother get drunk. Like, that's
Okay.
true. He wouldn't get drunk around his baby brother. That's just not his bag.
And he wouldn't get drunk, like, before a hunt or anything like
Oh,
that.
God,
Like,
no.
that
He's
would
not
be insane.
hell
irresponsible.
no.
Yeah.
No. But apparently he took up recreational drinking and killing Darkspawn at some point. Probably.
Like, I'm just, like, staring at Zevran, like, astonished. Like, that does not sound like my brother.
War changes all of us, my friend.
I don't really have a response to that.
Yeah, so I feel like I just like try to get my horse up, and I'm like, I'm not used to riding, since I'd be chained to my handler. We walked everywhere. Did you see the Inquisitor again in your dream?
No. Why do you ask?
Well, I did studying. Well, we had some time about what was he called? A somniari, the dream walker. Yes. So I assumed he would visit you again.
Elian flushes and is very grateful that Dorian isn't there to hear that.
Somewhere back in Minrathis, Dorian looks up from his book and is like, something's happening that I don't approve of.
I'm like, yeah, he did call you handsome in his letter.
Yeah, he did. What was your... Why are we talking about my dreams?
Because I don't know what else to talk about.
Oh, that's fair.
Should we not talk about dreams? I don't know what else. I don't know how to
No.
talk.
No, it's okay. My dreams recently haven't been too good.
That definitely gets my attention. I sort of tilt my head and I'm like, what do you mean not good?
Well, so I mean, you asked if I saw him again in my dreams, and I did, but not him, not Somniari, actual him. I met him before, back in Valrayo.
Oh.
And Elian just kind of hesitates, and I lost someone very close to me, and I actually met Lannon the day that he died.
Oh, I am sorry you lost someone.
Elian smiles, just kind of looks down at his hands for a moment and back up. Thank you. I dream about it sometimes, and this time there was something different. There was this shadow.
Do you think it was a demon?
I don't know. It was terrifying. It was coming right at me. It was this giant wolf.
That does sound terrifying and like something that a demon would do in a dream. Especially a demon of terror.
I don't know. It rattled me.
Did it hurt you in the dream?
No, I managed to wake myself up before it could get anywhere near me.
Ah, I see. That's good.
Could it have actually hurt me?
Do you know the answer to that? Kay, not Cassandra.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I am not sure about that.
If you, Kay, are not sure, I can have Cassandra roll, but if you do know the answer, you can just tell her.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
Okay, so go ahead and roll Arcane Lore.
Ouch.
This actually kind of tracks with your education as Cerebas, because you were trained in a way that maximized damage while minimizing theory. you don't, like, you know how to blow shit up, but you don't have a very good understanding of, like, the concept of magic or, like, the theory of magic.
Right.
All you really know with a 10 is that the biggest danger demons pose in the Fade is possession. And
Right.
while it is theoretically possible for a demon to possess a non-mage, it's very unlikely. Demons prefer to possess mages because mages have power in the physical realm. Like, they can manipulate energy like spirits can in the Fade.
I sort of furrow my brow and look at Elian. I don't think it could hurt you. I mean, you're not a mage. They prefer to possess us. But maybe? It's good that you woke up, at least.
Yeah, I think it's one thing I'd rather not know.
In the back, Zevran with you, Sabre. You see Zevran, he takes his last... He tries to take a swig of something, realizes it's empty, and, like, throws the bottle over his shoulder, and he says, "What is it they say when you're truly bored? You talk about dreams and the weather?"
I look around, I'm like,
Should I be talking about the weather?
Please don't.
Oh, okay.
It has been very hot.
Sweet maker, please no. Can we change the subject, please? To literally anything.
You could tell us where you're from.
I'm from Antiva. I thought the accent made that apparent.
Sure.
He eyes you and he says, "Then I suppose you've never been to Antiva, have you?"
I haven't been much of anywhere.
He sighs and he says, "I am a crow. Have you heard of the crows?"
that is a good question. Would she have?
You've probably at least heard of them in passing, yeah.
I sort of blink. I'm like, it sounds familiar.
They're a highly trained group of assassins that come from Antiva. They take children off the slave market, train them up, and then put them to work until they pay back their value. I managed it about 10 or 12 times before I left the order under suspicious circumstances, he says, like, wiggling his fingers.
Elian just, like, looks back over at him and just raises an eyebrow, like, that wants a little bit more information. There's a story there.
Oh, there is, I promise you.
Spray is less subtle. Is it about sex?
He says, "A little bit. I mean, you have to go pretty far back, but really it's about your brother, actually. I failed to kill him, and thus my life was forfeit with the crows. They tried to come and kill me. He killed them first. It was all very copacetic."
I regret asking that question.
Well, maybe you'll learn this time.
It's not something I want to think about.
Severin says, "Have you ever heard of the game Never Have I Ever?"
Yes.
"I'm very good at it," he says, knowingly.
Oh, God.
What's a game?
Oh dear.
You know what a game is, Cassandra.
I do?
Sabre, like, buries his head in his hands and is like, "Please don't ask us to play Never Have I Ever."
I think we should. I think that sounds delightful, Zephyrin.
He says, "I think I will astonish you with how excellent I am at this game." But before he can actually start the game, you hear a battle cry come out from over the hill that's just in front of you.
Excellent. I whirl, spear out.
You're on a horse.
Well, I whirl on my horse.
Zevran looks to the rest of you and he says, "Well, rain check." And then he kicks his horse and it starts off toward the top of the hill.
Oh, I follow. I'm, like, enthusiastically. I've been waiting for this.
You make it to the top of the hill, and you are looking down at an offshoot of the Imperial Highway. Like, the Imperial Highway is huge. It's, like, almost 500 yards across. But there are tiny little offshoots that branch off at every couple hundred meters into small fishing villages or, like, ports, that kind of thing. And this one is leading to a little village right on the edge of the Notion Sea, but currently it is, okay, what you see, a large wagon with 2 horses drawing it. There's a cage over the wagon, about 8 or 10 very scared-looking elves in the back, 3 slavers, and 1 elf with a broadsword in his hands, and he is taking on all 3 of them at once. Also, there's a dog at his heels. a very large Mabari, a warhound. That's they're common in Ferelden. Not up here though. They're not very common up in Tevinter.
Interesting. Well, this week has got a lot more interesting. Let's kill some fucking slavers.
Zevran says, "By your leave," and he swings off his horse. And being a rogue, he probably does something spooky, like vanish into the tall grass.
That is not my thing. I just charge.
Yep. Let's all roll initiative. First up in the order is Elian.
Yep.
You take a moment to assess the battlefield. It is 3 against 1, 2 if you count the dog, which you're Orlesian, so you don't count the dog. And it seems like this dude is outnumbered, but it also seems like the only possible way this could have worked, this elf is really heavily armed, so he's not in the process of being captured, because you'd have to be fucking stupid to want to go after this elf and his huge war dog. So the only possible explanation for this is that the elf started this fight,
Which is mind-boggling.
That doesn't seem wise, yeah. You're up first in the initiative order, Elian. There are 3 slavers, and the elf is engaging all of them.
Okay.
There's a big slaver and 2, he looks like he's in charge, and then 2 slavers that look like henchmen.
I think I'm gonna go for one of the henches to start with my rapier.
Okie dokie.
And I guess I'm just going to do aim and melee attack.
Yep, that's a hit. Go ahead and roll damage. He actually has an armor rating of 4, so that means that you actually do no damage.
Cool. Excellent.
Oh.
You come up and you stab your rapier into the kidney area, you're thinking, and it glances off his plate armor, but it definitely catches the attention of the elf. And you've got the first clear look at this elf. He's very striking to look at. He has dark skin and bright white hair, and he has these interesting glowing tattoos along his chin and his throat and his arms. You can only see parts of it through this light plate armor that he's wearing.
I fucking knew it.
I can't hide anything from you, Kay. As soon as he sees you, he cocks one eyebrow at you as if to ask you, are we on the same side?
I just kind of arch an eyebrow and then wink.
He does not seem to know what to make of that, but he kind of shrugs anyway.
I have an important character question. How handsome is this man?
He's pretty handsome. Yeah.
He is so handsome.
Next up in the order is the chief slaver.
Oh boy.
Who has not yet noticed that you're back there because he is laser focused on this elf. So he is going to attack the elf with a longsword that he has. A 15. Fenris's defense is 11, so that's a hit. That's 11 damage. He takes the hit, and the markings on his skin flare bright blue briefly. It's very spooky.
Interesting.
Then it is the slaver on the right who is also going to attack Fenris. He's got a maul. A 14 is a hit, so that's going to be... That's
Try
12
not to
damage.
Smile. Not that y'all can see me, but I'm like,
Of course.
it's my other boyfriend.
Then that's the third slaver's turn. The third slaver is going to turn around and confront you, Elian. And he's going to try to hit you with a maul. An 18 is, I assume, a hit.
Yep.
Ooh.
8 damage, minus any armor that you're wearing.
Okay, so 8 minus 3.
So 5 damage. It is Zevran's turn. Zevran is going to sneak up behind the chief brigand. He is going to try to engage in a backstab, which is his dexterity stealth versus the brigand's perception seeing. Okay, that is a successful backstab, which means Zevran gets to add +2 on the attack roll and 1d6 extra damage.
This is what I should have done.
Yeah, probably. You're learning from the expert.
Yep.
Okay, so this is light blade, so that's +7 +2, so 9. Very, very hit. That is an extremely
Very hit.
And then the dagger does 1d6 +1 normally, but he gets to add an extra 1d6, so that's 2d6 +1. for 12 damage, minus 4.
Why I'm in love with him.
8 damage. Oh, that's almost half of its health.
Woohoo.
All right. Sabre, you're up next.
So, this is definitely a surprise to Sabre, too. Like, it's a surprise to Amber, and it's definitely a surprise to Yariel. He does not know what the fuck is going to go on here.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
So I think he's going to run towards the head hench person with the intention of, like, stabbing him through the chest, and instead...
Uh-oh.
He's going to do this thing. So I guess he needs the big guy needs to roll a dex contest, and I'm going to roll courage.
Dex, so that's +2 for him. It's a 14. Let's go ahead and roll courage.
Damn.
Not quite. But you still get to do damage.
Yes, 3d6 plus 3.
Whoa!
Okay. What the fuck is happening?
Right?
Wouch!
What the
Hachi
fucking
machi. So Sabre, here's what happens within the narrative. Sabre comes rushing forward, attempting, as you said, to stab him through the chest with your spear. And instead what happens is this enormous flash of light kind of pistons itself out through the end of Sabre's spear and directly into the chest of this slaver, who goes flying back about 30 feet and hits the ground hard. And he screams as the process of him burning alive begins in earnest.
Oh god.
God!
He becomes consumed by white fire. He is screaming and writhing on the ground. And this mysterious elf with the white hair turns and looks at you and he says, "Neat trick. You teach that to anyone?"
I'm, like, staring horrified at my hands. Like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. I look up at this strange elf and I'm just like, I have no idea what that was.
He says, "Well, let me see if I can do you one better." His, the veins that he's drawn on, that have been drawn on his skin flare bright blue. And suddenly he stabs his hand directly into the chest of one of the slavers.
What the fuck?
Oh my bae, that's... God, I love that move.
It ghosts directly into his chest, and they need to make a roll. Okay, so this is Fenris's Strength Might versus Constitution Stamina. Yep, he stabs his hand directly into the slaver's chest, and the slaver screams as Fenris slowly crushes his heart in his grasp, and the slaver takes 2d6 penetrating damage.
Oh my god.
And drops dead.
I'm staring in horror at everything that has happened. This was supposed to be a fun jaunt where we just kill people with spears, and now there's weird-ass fucking magic, like...
Yeah, Elian's pretty rattled.
The elf is now standing over this dead slaver, literally clutching his heart in his hand. And he says, there's nothing like killing slavers in the morning. Next up in the order is Cassandra.
It's a man after my own heart.
You've got one slightly injured chief slaver and one not at all injured henchman slaver who looks like he's reassessing his life choices right now.
Right? He's like, maybe I should take a vacation. Yeah, I'm just like looking around. Well, first of all, like, I just saw my friend do fucking weird shit. Like, I'm staring at Sabre, and while I was staring at Sabre, then this new guy suddenly fucking plunges his hand into a chest, and I'm like, holy shit, where am I? What's happening? Is this a nightmare? So, time to grab Listaff. So I'm gonna go for the dude that is already injured.
The one on the ground 30 feet away who's screaming.
Where's the other dude?
Directly in front of you.
Like, how directly in front of me?
Definitely within spellcasting distance. Sabre's weird magical thing sent the other guy flying about 30 feet. He's still burning with white fire, by the way, and still screaming.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
so that scares me. I'm just like, I'll just leave that one alone. That one seems to be suffering already. I just sort of look at Sabre like, okay. And I'm gonna cast Arcane Bolt at the one in front of me. So that is acrobatics versus my spell power.
That is very, very much better.
Yep.
So go ahead and roll damage. 10 damage. And that's penetrating damage, so he's not quite dead, but he's pretty close to dead.
Oh, hold on. There's bonus damage equal to the casting roll's dragon die.
Oh, in that case, he's dead.
Okay. I was like, okay.
Okay, Cassandra, you hurl an arcane bolt out at this slaver, and it explodes him pretty nicely.
I mean, that is the magic that I was taught.
That's how it works, yeah.
Yep.
Elian, we are back to you. There is only one target who's not extremely dead, and it's the slaver who is still being burned alive with white fire.
Ugh, that's horrifying. I don't like that. I guess I'm gonna go over and just try to stab him.
Hey, dude, while you're already suffering, have some more suffering.
I mean, he's a slaver. Come on.
Right? Exactly.
They're not people.
If he didn't want to get stabbed, he shouldn't have been a slaver.
Yeah, I feel like it's a
True.
pretty simple equation.
14 is a hit, so go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
7 damage. You stab him in the chest, and he doesn't quite die. Like, he stares up at you, like, with blood fountaining out of his mouth.
Ooh.
Sort of, it's very gruesome.
Oh, God.
It is at this point that the elf says, "Sick 'em, cat," and the dog comes bounding out from behind the elf's
I'm sorry.
legs.
The dog's name is Cat.
Yep, the dog's name is Cat.
my God.
I scramble out of the way of that dog.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the receiving end of a Mabari Warhound charge. Those things are used in battle for a reason. He attacks the slaver, just climbs right on top of it, and just goes to town. That is a hit. That does it. So this enormous Mabari Warhound comes charging up Elian desperately, like, oh god! Like, backflips out of the way, and the hound rips out the slaver's throat. And the elf sheathes his two-handed sword over his back. He goes up to the dog, and he says, "Good boy, good cat," and he, like, ruffles the dog's ears, and the dog just barks happily at him. Still blood and gore dripping down its mouth.
Oh, this is so good.
Like, who's a good dog? You're a good dog.
I think I'm just staring at the corpse, which I imagine is still at least slightly on fire.
Yeah, a little bit. Zevran turns to you, Sabre, and he says, "Well, you want to share with the class, my friend?"
What the hell was that?
I'm like looking at my hands gingerly, like I'm like worried if I touch something they're gonna blow up. I'm not cool with magic. This is the worst thing. I've never done. I think I look like accusatorily at Cassandra, and I'm like, "What did you do?"
What are you talking about? She didn't do anything.
She must have set that person on fire.
I did not. I also am not the one who made a deal with a demon.
I sort of look baffled because it's like honestly I've forgotten about it.
That tracks.
And then I turn back and I'm like, that's not what's going on here.
Zevran says, "Yes, I'm sure it's a perfect coincidence that you make a blood pact in your dream on one day, and then 3 days later you set a man on fire. I'm sure it's a complete coincidence."
Mm.
That was for the uneducated sarcasm.
Okay.
I meant to draw an extremely clear line between the two events. You know how possession works, correct?
No, I don't.
The elf walks back over, and he says, "I suppose I owe you my thanks. Although I admit to some curiosity about how you managed to, And he glances back at the slaver corpse, which is still smoldering a little bit.
Us too.
Me too. I don't know what the... Like, again, I think it's just, like, I'm just very gingerly staring at everything. Like, I'm just expecting everything to blow up. So every time he moves, he's just, like, flinching slightly.
The elf says, Perhaps it would be good to introduce ourselves. My name is Fenris. I came here looking for, well, someone who is not that far away at Weishaupt, but then I got distracted killing slavers. Everyone needs a hobby." He, like, kicks the slaver, lightly.
It's a good hobby, my friend. Speaking of which, I want to go let the people in the cage out of the cage.
Do you have lockpicking?
Nope.
I do. Maybe let me try.
I'm gonna start bashing it.
So I see Sabre heading over with the intent to just bash it. I'm like, hang on, let me at least try to pick the thing first.
I find that violence is the best solution.
Not always.
Also, you're very scary, remember that.
Yeah, the elves, they have been, of course, watching the entire event, including the part where the guy was set on fire. And they seem a little bit spooked.
Okay. I think Sabre takes that kind of badly, because he's a sword, and he doesn't have a family, like, he wants, like, solidarity.
No!
So I think he sees that, and he sort of, like, flinches backwards, and says quietly to Elian, I suppose you should take this.
So I think Elian notices that and just kind of gives him a pat on the arm real quick and then goes over and tries to pick the lock.
Okay, go ahead and roll Leisure Domain, I think it is. Or no, there's a lockpicking skill. So with the 17, Elian, you duck down at the end of the cart and you very easily pick the lock. It snaps open and the door swings out. And the elves are all kind of staring at you in just sort of just bewilderment.
Is it because I'm a human? Letting them out?
I mean, it's mostly the part where they saw the guy get set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I feel that. It's okay. You can come out. We won't hurt you, I promise.
The elves at first kind of don't look super convinced, but of course there's a little kid, a little boy. He looks maybe 11 or 12. He jumps right out because he's at that stage where nothing scares him. And he jumps out and he says something in Elven that you don't understand, Elian. And you realize, oh god, they're all Dalish. Except for this one little kid who doesn't have a Valisline, they are all marked. None of them with the red markings, but they must have come from a clan nearby. Which is, clans don't generally wander this far north. Like, you'd have to, like, cause this shit. This is why clans don't wander near the Tevinter border.
Uh-huh. I think Elian just kind of looks desperately back at Sabray like,
Okay. I sort of shake my head exasperated and walk over. Did I hear what the little boy said?
Yeah, he said, it's fine, come out now.
I sort of say encouragingly to everybody, like, we're not here to hurt you. We'll help you back to where you came from.
The little boy, he goes forward toward you and he says, you used the wrath of the creators to strike them down! And he starts punching the air. He's really excited about it. He's like the only one who's excited about what you did.
That's very cute.
You struck them down! And he starts punching enthusiastically at the air. And the other elves are slowly climbing out of the back.
I think I pat him on the head and I sort of turn back to the larger adult group and I'm like, who here speaks for the clan?
Our Haran and our keeper, thank the creators, were not with us. One woman steps out and she says, I'm the eldest among them, among those assembled here anyway. Dalish clans, it's sort of seniority by age most of the time. Like, Haran literally means elder, and the elders are given, like, positions of respect.
Anethra.
She climbs off the back of the slaver cart and she says, that was quite the spell you weaved, she said, and, like, looks very, very deliberately at your spear, like, isn't it excessive for a mage to also have a spear? Like...
I put my spear away. Sort of deliberately. And I look back at her and I say, it is strange times.
Isn't it just? The sky cracks open, demons fall out of everything, and then suddenly here we are. She starts helping everyone else get out of the back of the slaver cart, and the little boy is obsessing about, like, the wrath of the creators pulling down, striking down the evil slavers. He's really excited about this narrative. Luckily, the other elves seem to be warming up a little bit now that you've proven that you're not a danger to them at the very least.
Yeah.
And the Haran of the elder of those in the wagon says, "May we know the names of our saviors?" And trade tongue, so everyone can answer.
I don't think I like saviors. Like, I think I sort of blanch a little bit about that, and I'm like, just friends. I am Sabray, and I sort of give like an awkward half bow.
Zevran winks very lasciviously, because he has a canonical thing for older women, and he says, "Zevran Aranai, a pleasure to meet you."
Elian Bayard. And I kind of mimic whatever kind of bow I just saw.
I just sort of look around, I'm like, Cassandra?
The elf steps forward, and I am Fenris. You're all free to go. I take you as Dalish, so you likely have better odds at surviving out here than anyone else, though you should not. I would advise against traveling by daylight.
Do you need an escort back to safekeeping?
The eldest shakes her head and she says, "We have 2 of our finer hunters here with us. We should be all right until we find some place to stay until nightfall."
Okay. Well, then peace be with you, and for God's sake, avoid the Shem.
She says, "Oh yes, a lesson we've been taught again and again. Hopefully one day our keeper will learn." She inclines her head to you, and she heads off in the general southward direction. And Fenris finally turns to all of you, and he says, "So, that was impressive. Have I met a fellow recreational slaver killer?"
Definitely that one is, but I don't have any fondness for them either.
I like to think that we are professional slaver killers at this point, no? We are getting paid for it. And Fenris sort of grins and he says, indeed. Then I owe you my thanks. I was a bit over-hasty, I admit. I probably should not have taken on all three at once. Your entrance was well-timed.
You seemed like you were holding up fairly well.
He shrugs and he flexes both hands and the markings along his throat and his chin flare bright blue again. He says, these help.
I'm just staring at those
Yeah, same.
Let's have all of you make an arcane lore check to see if you even know what the fuck that is.
Oh god, this is gonna be a disaster.
that seems perfectly in character.
10, 10, 3.
Yep.
So yeah, the most you can get with 2 10s is, you think, it doesn't seem possible, but you think those markings are made of lyrium. Lyrium, and actually this is like a out of character explanation because all of you would know what lyrium is, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to recognize those things. Those markings are made of lyrium. Lyrium is a mineral that is mined by the mining caste of dwarves that live in Orzammar. It is extremely valuable. It augments a mage's powers, and it is also extremely volatile. If you breathe in raw lyrium, you die. If you touch lyrium the wrong way, it explodes. If you don't handle it just so, it could absolutely destroy a building. Lyrium is extremely dangerous, but there are lyrium potions. You can stabilize it with certain mixtures. It's as valuable as it is dangerous.
Cool.
I just blink. I'm like, but no. Lyrium?
Fenris grins and he says, lyrium.
How can that be?
Slowly and painfully, he says. And against my will. He says, I'm sure my former master would be pleased to know that I used his gift to kill slavers so regularly.
I nudge Zevran subtly and subtly as I can possibly manage. And I'm like, is that sarcasm?
Zevran's like, oh, my precious sunshine child. Zevran, by the way, is looking back at you, Sabre. Sort of he's trying to imply something. He's got intent in his eyes.
I'm staring at him confused. I get that he's trying to tell me something, but I have no idea what it is.
He looks at you, then he looks at Fenris, and then he jabs his head in Fenris's direction, then he raises his eyebrows huh?
I mutter under my breath, he's not really my type.
No, you fuck. He grabs you by the shoulder and he turns you around and he says, perhaps he might be interested in, I don't know, joining a bunch of freedom fighters interested in the eradication of slavery?
Oh, God. I think I step up awkwardly and I'm like, if you're interested in killing slavers, we might have a job for you.
He turns around and he says, what makes you think I'm looking for a job? But he doesn't sound antagonistic. He just sort of sounds, idly curious.
I sort of shrug idly and I say, well, one has to keep busy.
Cat barks.
Is it an intimidating bark?
No, it's a happy bark.
Oh, okay.
He's agreeing with you.
I sort of smile at the dog and I'm like, see? Your hound agrees.
Fenris chuckles and he says, Cat is not my hound. I brought him with me as emotional blackmail. Long story.
Why is it called Cat? It's a dog, right?
Yes, well spotted.
We're making a really good impression.
I know, right?
I just wondered. I'm confused. Why would you call one thing something it is not?
Zevran says, Levon Hawk! Wait a minute, I remember you! And Zevran kind of heads forward toward Fenris and he says, the Wounded Coast, yes? Fenris is staring at him for a minute and he's like, wait, yes, I do remember you. Zevran Aranai, right? The Antivan Crow. Haha, not anymore, my friend. He says, yes, now I remember you spent the entire time flirting with Hawk. He says, yes, that is indeed what I did. And as I recall, you were not very happy about that.
I'm just whispering to Elian, are they friends or not?
Not established yet.
Fenris sort of crosses his arms over his chest and he says, no, I can't say I was. He says, it's alright, nothing would have come of it anyway. I am still deep in mourning, you see. Anyway, have you any interest in joining the Lucerni? What a great sales pitch you guys are giving him.
Honestly, the only one who could have given it better is Elian.
Yeah. I was still a little too rattled by Cat.
Yeah, now, by the way, Kat is coming up to you, Elian, and sniffing around your hand because you smell like fancy soap.
Oh boy.
I feel like Elian just goes, like, really still.
So this dog is fucking huge. It is a Mambari, which is a specially bred type of warhound that's most common to Ferelden. The reason they call people from Ferelden dog lords is specifically because of the Mambari. They're very, very intelligent. Rumor is that they can actually understand speech, although that's just a rumor. You're not actually sure if it's true.
I sort of like look at Elian and look at the dog.
I'm like, do you not like things like this creature?
Cat barks.
I think you upset it.
I don't normally see them rip out a man's throat.
Yeah, his jowls are still bloody, but he, like, licks your hand like, that's fine. There's blood all over your wrist.
I just give him a cautious pat on the head.
Cat barks again.
Good Cat.
Zephyrin says, by the way, what brings you all the way to the north? You know, it is dangerous, I assume, for elves this far north. And Fenrir says, oh yes, I'm acutely aware of how dangerous it is. I came here seeking Hawk. He went here after the Inquisition recruited the Grey Wardens to their cause. He went up to Weishaupt. It's been several years now, and I have finally decided that something is probably wrong, and that I need to go and find him. But breaking into Weishaupt Fortress is not easy, he says. And also, I get distracted whenever I see a slaver caravan. I just feel this impetus to, and he kicks one of the slavers, the one whose heart he ripped out with his bare hand. And I do actually want everyone except Cassandra to make that cultural lore check to see what they know about Levon Hawk.
Okay.
That checks out.
Yep.
So, Sabre, Levon Hawk is a human, so you don't keep up with that shit.
Okay, yeah.
I don't fucking care.
Elian, you've heard the name Levon Hawk. He made waves in the city of Kirkwall not that long ago. He is commonly called the Champion of Kirkwall. He's known for, among other things, accidentally starting the Mage Rebellion, which almost tore Thedas apart. Also, he killed the last Arishok, who was camped out in Kirkwall. That was pretty impressive. All in all, he's got a very checkered reputation.
Okay.
You do know that he is a mage, that he was an apostate mage, actually, which means he was a mage who had never been into a circle. And, not unreasonably so, like, especially in Kirkwall, the circle was absolutely brutal. It was part of what started the Mage Rebellion. We haven't had time to get into the Mage Rebellion. A lot of shit happened in Dragon Age 2, y'all. But yeah, if this guy knows Levon Hawk, he'd be a good ally to have in the Lucerni.
Yeah.
Levon Hawk is, among other things, connected, powerful as just a mage.
I feel like Elian wipes off the hand that had been licked.
Kat decides you're his best friend and sits down next to you.
Okay.
Oh,
I can deal with that. I guess. And he turns to Fenris and says, we were looking for some caravans that had been attacked, and we could use some assistance if you'd like. And I kind of glance at the others. Maybe we could help you as well?
Fenris says, well, if you're looking for the source of the attacks on slaver caravans, it was me. It was probably me.
So it's not the Darkspawn?
The Divine said...
Fenris actually looks over you and he says, Darkspawn?
Yes, we'd heard rumors that there were Darkspawn corpses found with some of the caravans.
The Divine sent us out to eliminate the problem.
The Divine sent... And he kind of like holds up a hand. He's like, just gonna stop you right there. Like, we don't have time to unpack all of that. He says, right, if it's Darkspawn you're looking for, He stops and he looks over his shoulder toward the southeast and he says, I may know of what you speak. Hey friends, Tessa here. If you're desperate to hear the next episode, chances are good that you can by joining our Discord server. We post links to all episodes and pre-release, and you can even chat with us and listen live as we record. Join us by going to bit.ly/CFC Discord. For more information on the show, character biographies, and links to social media, head to our website, critfail.club or critfailclub.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Crit Fail Club does not advertise at all, so if you like what you hear, tell a friend who might also like it, make a post on social media about it, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Full episodes are available on our YouTube channel, bit.ly/CFC channel, or wherever you get your podcasts.